Good morning. Welcome to today's Global Harmonization. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Watcher and what that means, the different roles that we take on and what it's all about. So if it's your first harmonization, stay on. We're going to do a little chat and then a nice meditation, group meditation with a nice intention around it. Nice to see you, Natalia. Thank you for chiming in. The comments here. It's great to be able to see who's on. And August, of course, you guys ladies are always on nice and early. Appreciate it. And letting me know what's up. So today I was going to talk a little about the Watcher and who is the Watcher? Who is the Watcher? What is the Watcher? How does this all work? And before I get to that, I'm going to kind of zoom out and just use a bit of an analogy. I haven't heard this before. It's just coming to me right now. So see how this lands. So when a show is performed, and you're going to go to the theater, right? Somebody's going to go to the theater. There's a few key characters that make this possible, that makes this an event that somebody would want to go to, right? You have the characters, the people that are playing the scripts, playing the roles out, coming on stage, right? You have those people that are the forefront that draw the crowd, especially if there's a celebrity in it. It's going to draw a crowd to it. And those people are going to go onto the stage and they're going to perform certain moves. They're going to speak certain words, say things in a certain way so that what is said is altered based on a connotation made by how it was said, creating a little bit of illusion to be able to create some drama, to create some entertainment. You have the director and all the leading directors, all the management, the people that have corralled these individuals together, the people that wrote the script, the people that have brought everybody in to actually be able to do this performance, the performance. There's all the behind the scenes types of individuals that make sure that everything's all taken care of behind the scenes that we don't even know about. And then we have the spectators, the audience, the watchers, right? And then there's different types of watchers. There's watchers that get confused that they're watching a play. They're watching some kind of acting, some kind of performance. There's the ones like my great-grandmother who, no joke, if there was a villain sneaking up behind some innocent person, right? She would shout out into the screen and say, "Look out behind you, Jeanette. He's coming for you." Or if there was an actor cheating, she'd be like, "Jeanette, don't trust him. He's been with Sophia." Like, no joke. This was my experience going to theater when I was a kid and my great-grandmother would go, right? She got so in awe and enthralled and so enraptured in the performance that she became part of the performance, but she was supposed to be just watching. That's all she had to do was watch and be entertained and enjoy every single minute. And instead, she's sitting there giving away the plot to the person that's not supposed to know, which turned every single one of these things into a bit of a comedy. Fortunately for me and the audience, people were in pretty good spirits and saw the humor in all this. I don't know how the actors felt about it. So the point is that all of these different sections of people, they're all different roles. They're all required to make a successful performance. Without an audience, the performance would just be unseen, unappreciated, unexperienced. Without the management crew to bring all these individuals together, it'd be disorganized. The performance would never happen. And without behind the scenes individuals, the lighting would be off, the timing would be off, these things wouldn't be happening, and the performance would fail. And the funny thing is, most of the time, we go to these performances as watchers. We go as the audience. Right? Most of us, the majority, right? Only so many people can do the performance. I've never done stage work, done video, film, but never been on a theater stage. But I've definitely been an audience. I've definitely been the watcher. And even when you're watching a movie, there's emotion that can be stirred up when I identify with the character, when I can relate to the character. And that emotion, at one point in time, I'd be swept away by the emotion, like my great grandmother. Right? I'd be lost in it. I wouldn't shout out what was happening because I wasn't that crazy. However, I would be very emotionally moved by what was going on. And I would identify with the struggles and the pains and the challenges that the characters were going through, even as the watcher. But I never became the character. No matter how many times I sat in that chair and watched a film or a performance of some type, I never went from that chair to become the actor. Because I never became that identified with it. And what I find more and more is that is a possibility. That's a choice. Any one of us could become an actor or performer in some way. You've got a gift. I guarantee you've got a gift that would be useful on a stage. Just as like I'm sure I have one. I don't necessarily know what it is, but I'm definitely sure I could figure it out. And any one of us could play that management role and help bring people together. Even if it's as a producer role, just putting some money towards something. Any one of us could play any one of these roles, and every single one of these categories has a different role to play, right? So the audience might have certain characters that laugh really loud, and it adds more energy, or some might just like scream in fright, like seeing somebody watch a scary movie and watching them get scared, like surprised or whatever. That can be as exciting as being the one getting surprised. Actually, sometimes it's nicer to watch the other person get scared, because then you don't get scared and you just watch somebody else and you have the funny part, right? And the same thing with the roles on the stage. Everybody's got a unique role. Somebody's got to play villain. Somebody's got to play savior. Somebody's got to play victim. Somebody's got to play crucifier. Sometimes these people play the same roles over and over again. Antagonist, protagonist, supporting roles. All these different roles depending on what type of performance it is. And again, within the management, there's many roles, right? There's the director, there's the screenwriter, there's the casting director, there's all kinds of different roles that play. There's the people that do the lighting, the people that do the curtains, the people that do the music, right? So all these are different roles. And so why am I bringing you all this? And why am I telling you all this? Of course, you know all this, right? This is not, ooh, yeah, you're so smart, Ian. You know that there's different people and different characters and different roles in theater. Well, the reason why I'm bringing it is because it's always a choice to go into one of those roles. It's always a choice when it's the theater, when it's a movie theater, if you want to be part of the operation. And I really see life on a parallel to like a play. Knowing my role in any given situation is extremely, extremely important for how I'm going to experience that situation. And there can be a lot of drama. There can be a lot of drama in the human psyche. There's a lot of things that one could worry about. There's a lot of things one could be regretting or shameful about. There's a lot of things that could be identified with a certain role, right? Whatever your job is right now. Somebody asks you, what do you do, right? And one of the most popular questions in America. Only people that ask me what I do in Costa Rica is other Americans. It's not even the topic. And now it's gotten to a point where it's like, I don't even know how to necessarily answer this topic, this question. because I've become the watcher. I've become the audience. I've stopped identifying with those specific characters unless I choose to. And from that place, that's when I truly have a choice in which role I'm going to take on, because I've stopped identifying with any one of the characters. At one point, I was a serial entrepreneur. Another point, I was a speaker. Another point, I was a motocross racer. One point, I was a husband. One point, I was a boyfriend. One point, I was a son. And I really identified with all of these things. And how does the best husband behave? And what I thought the best husband did was what I would do my best to do, right or wrong. Same thing with as an entrepreneur, the best boss. And I identified with this character, and I wanted to learn more about how do I play this role. So I read books on relationships and business and everything under the sun to see how other people did it. And what happened was I became that role, so embedded as that role, that leaving that role, and I see I got some comments, so I'm going to look at these comments in a moment. What happened though is I became so embedded in that role that changing from that role to a new identity became a daunting task, right? So to go from an employee to an employer, very different roles. Had I stayed in employee track longer when I was younger, I might not have been able to make that jump to entrepreneur, right? Or I would have been able to, it just would have been more of a breakaway. So I invite you, the true power in choosing the role is to be able to have no role, to be able to have a no. It's like, first I gotta be someone so that I can become anyone, so that I can become no one. And then I can actually choose that everyone, that anyone at any point in time, that role that best suits where I'm at. But most of the time is in that watcher role, in that observer role. That quiet person in the room, they ain't the dumb person in the room. That quiet person in the room that's observing, that's watching, they might actually know more than anyone else because they've kept their lips sealed. They may be able to transition and be able to hold a conversation with anyone because they've actually been in the watcher, the observer mode. Whereas anybody that's in the role, in the drama, it's like being in the forest. Can't see the forest. You can only see the trees. The watcher can see the whole entire forest and then can choose from an outside perspective on where to enter this forest at any point in time versus being lost, not knowing where they are, and only surrounded by a few certain trees. That gives them a very narrow perspective, a very small perspective. So no matter what the situation is, especially, if things are flowing, you love every single moment of life, and I love every single moment of life, and there's no question about it. But that moment that I feel some anxiety or some fear or some concern or some insecurity or self-doubt or any of those things, it's a reminder, like, step back. You are not this situation. You are not what's happening right now. You are observing what's happening. You are the watcher. And when I can drop back into that, then this thing springs forth, and I get back into the flow, get back into the rhythm. It doesn't matter if I'm being pulled over by a police officer. I pulled over not long ago, $600 ticket. Didn't get a ticket. And I had to negotiate it in Spanish, and by the end of the conversation, the police officer was telling me to go have a few drinks before I got back in the car. So I got his head. I have no idea what came out of me. But it went from passing double yellow line, speeding, school zone, yeah, all the things you shouldn't be doing, but walked away with a thank you and a suggestion to go have some drinks and some laughs and not a ticket, because I stepped back into that watcher mode, and whatever came through just flowed through, and dynamics just automatically. It's kind of like having the no. If you don't have a no, you don't have a yes. And there's a lot of people out there that have trouble saying no. I was one of them for a very long time. I just wanted to please everybody around me. I thought I could do everything anyway, so why not? And became overwhelmed and all this stuff. Any of you that are in that yes mode or have experienced it know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you are, or you think you might be in that yes mode, that always playing the role, practice that word no. Just to say it, even if you just say it for 30 seconds. Like, I could give you an example. If I'm with Emily and she asks me to change the diaper, I might say no, and then 30 seconds later still change it, but at least I had my no. Actually, I probably won't change it. She'll change it.
My no will be the one that changes in 30 seconds.
Yeah, her no will be the one that changes in 30 seconds. But being able to have the no and practice the no and make sure that you always have the no when you're with whoever you're with. An honored, sacred no. So I say no, okay, respected. That's it. Everybody having that watcher ability to be able to step back and look. Becoming no one, exactly, August, being no one. Stella, I don't know exactly what you're saying here. Elisa, glad you like it. Glad it's vibing with you. So let's get to the meditation here and let's get into the harmonization. And just begin opening. I'm going to do a little bit of movement myself. I can feel some cracking going on in my body. And maybe just while moving, look for any of that stuck energy where, like, maybe I should have said no. Maybe I should have said yes. And listen for the shoulds that come up. Remember that word and the deceitfulness of that word. However, these voices coming to the surface are enlightening voices. It's bringing to my awareness. So just roll the neck. You can roll the whole body, the hips. I'm going to do a little twist. I found out that a section of my spine is actually completely twisted. I didn't realize that. So I can actually feel even better than I already do, which is amazing. I like that idea. Bringing the shoulders back and down, bringing the chest up front, and breathing in through the nose, filling the belly. And just zooming the lens out and beginning to just be the watcher of the breath. Take a full inhale, holding it at the top, scanning through the mind, the emotions, and just getting an assessment of where I am physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, my connection to spirit, just looking at myself as a watcher. And I hope that you're picking up all the sounds of the baby here, because it's pretty funny. Bringing in some crystal bolt sounds to this as well. Just releasing the breath into the tone, quartz. And feeling anything release that's stuck. Feeling that energy flow. Just observing the breath moving within, without. Being the watcher. Any thoughts that come to mind, just watching them. And letting them release. Just like flipping through the channels on a television. Just breathing, noticing the space between each breath. Noticing the stillness within. And looking at the heart as I breathe in for what energy it calls in. Maybe an idea and a thought, maybe an emotion, some kind of feeling. Allowing each breath to create an opening of space and time. Finding that still point within the heart. And while being the watcher, while just observing, notice that light in the heart begin to expand. This may correspond to each inhalation. Notice how this light fills the entire body. And the associations felt with it, the love, the gratitude, the freedom. connection to a deeper source. And now let's take that light and expand it beyond the physical body, beyond the me, beyond who I am. And let the light that I am spread throughout the room. Throughout the building, filling the entire building I'm in. And continuing out around the globe, whatever pace feels good in your heart. A light from my heart igniting this planet like the sun. I have an infinite well of giving, of loving. Here that I'm watching. Illuminating truth around the planet. Bringing darkness to light. Knowing that every time I see something for the first time, it's an illumination, it's an awakening, it's a higher state of awareness, not to be judged as good or bad or right or wrong. Washing away the ignorance through enlightenment. Knowing that all things are in divine order. And bringing the hands to heart position, prayer in front of the heart and pressing them together, breathing in, pressing them together, noticing how it opens up the sides of the chest, the back, maybe able to fit more air in. And embodying this light in every single cell of my being, for I am the light. I am the truth. I am the life. Knowing that everything that I project will be reflected back upon me. Anything that I see is merely a reflection of me. Knowing behind any doubt or concern lies gold to be mined, an opportunity, a possibility for a new perspective. And as the watcher, I can see both sides of these coins. ready, laying the hands down to rest. Gently opening the eyes. Thank you all for joining me today. God bless you. Hope you enjoyed the entertainment of the baby. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Stay the watcher. See how self-challenge. See how much you can stay the watcher today, and see when you identify with yourself or with some situation or scenario, get caught up with it. How much am I being the audience? How much am I being the watcher? How much am I being a participant? And this ratio, I mean, it changes the amount of power and impact I have in my life, and also my experience of life. Most importantly, my experience as I move through it. So no matter how crazy the situation, if you can maintain that watcher state or move into it, next time you have that crazy moment, next time you have that thing that comes at you out of nowhere and like the whole body begins to flare up, see if you can just watch what's happening. It doesn't mean if you're driving and you got to swerve out of the way, you swerve out of the way. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe actually just watching will actually allow everything to happen around, because that's happened to me before, where I've watched racing motorcycles, people crashing all around, and I just stayed true to my line. Like in Days of Thunder, when Cole Trickle has to just stay on the gas going through the smoke. You know that scene? And just trust that everything will work out around you exactly as it's supposed to. And you are exactly who and what you are right now, where you are at. God bless you, and have a beautiful, amazing day. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, August. Thank you, Stella. I don't know if I understand what you're talking about. Elisa, thank you, of course. God bless everybody that's been on today. Great day.